Good evening, sir. My name is Lian Chen, and now I'm going to present the group assignment that the topic is Classical Management Theory. Here are the group members of my group. The first one is me, and the second is Surya Krishnan, and third one is Komala Kumaran, the fourth is Sawamani Arumugan, and the last is Dayalani Baruma. In this group assignment, first we need to know that what is classical management theory? Classical management theory is a body of management based on the belief that workers only have physical and economic needs. The social needs and need for job satisfactions either don't exist or are unimportant to them. Accordingly, this advocates high specializations of labor, centralized decision making, and profit maximization. This theory was evolved at the end of 19th century and the beginning of 20th century. It was developed during the industrial revolutions when the problems related to factory system began. This theory is recognized the role that management plays in an organization's particularly focusing on the efficiency of the work process. That's all for me. Thank you.
Scientific management. Scientific management was introduced in an attempt to create a mental revolution in the workplace. It can be defined as the systematic study of work methods in order to improve efficiency. In the late 19th century, management decisions were often arbitrary and workers often worked at an intensely slow pace. There was little in the way systematic management and workers and management were often in conflict. Administrative management. This management focuses on the management process of principle of management. In contrast to scientific management, which deals largely with jobs and work at the individual level of analysis, administrative management provides a more general theory of management. Henry Fayol is the major contributor to this school of management thought, and according to him, this school basically deals with people in system. Although administrative management has been criticized as being rigid and inflexible, and the validity of the functional approach to management has been questioned, this school of thought still influenced management theory and practice. The functional approach to management is still the dominant way of organizing management knowledge, and many of Fayol's principles of management, when applied with the flexibility that he advocated, are still considered relevant. Bureaucratic management. This management it focuses on ideal form of organization and follows the same. Max Weber was the major contributor of this bureaucratic management. Weber's theory of bureaucratic management also has two essential elements. First, it entails structuring an organization into a hierarchy. Secondly, the organization and its members are governed by clearly defined rational legal decision making rules. Based on observation, he concluded that many early organizations were inefficiently managed with decisions based on personal leadership and loyalty.
Good day, sir. I'm Kamala Kumaran, and I'm going to explain about the drawbacks of scientific management theory and the drawbacks and contribution of the behavior management theory. Firstly, I'm going to explain about the drawbacks of scientific management theory. Firstly, the drawback of scientific management theory is highly cost. The cost of completely redesigning and the current plan and organizational structure is much too costly. The idea necessitates a significant financial commitment and is a regret as a pricey system. More money is required for the development of work-study, planning, department training programs. It will usually be carried out by external professionals in collaboration with repository employees and will involve a combination of quantitative and qualitative metrics. The secondly is the management is fully responsible for the supervision and planning of workplace operation. Managers lack innovation because they seize control of their staff. Another reason is because they repeat the same work. This controlling is no longer viable. From this, the organization difficult to achieving their goals. Finally, the scientific management is ineffective for organization because they have the potential to bully and misuse others. There is no space for the personal choice. As a result, the chain of the command is broken and the worker must answer to the supervisor. From this, the company where there is no immunity of command. The last theory is behavioral management theory. Behavioral management theory is based on the idea that employees will be able to better appreciate the human side. Firstly, I'm going to explain about the contribution of the behavioral management theory. Firstly, if a leader expects to collaborate across organization on device activities or if a team are actively engaged in decision making to promote support or similar programs. This is the first contribution of the behavioral management theory. If there is a lack in the completion of work on a marketing project, the behavioral theory of leadership helps explain why there is a lack and who is directly accountable. From this, a project must be redirected in order to retain clients delighted with your brand. Secondly, in behavioral management theory contributes raising self-belief. Individual employee behavior and overall workplace success are influenced by personality attributes. Self-beliefs are two attributes that influence a person's perception of themselves. Individual learns about their talents and knowledge from the behavioral management. The individual will develop a self-belief about where they shine at work after these capabilities have been found. The last thing in behavioral management that it's help determine the leadership styles of manager and team leadership. This is discovering imagine new approaches that they will not have discovered if making choice alone. Those connections are vital because there will be no team loyalty without them. Everyone works harder to ensure that something nice is accessible on the other side, as if they are circumstances together addressing difficulties. Lastly, I am going to explain about the drawbacks of behavioral management theory. Firstly, in this theory are processes that take time to master. Whether the management or employee have to experiment to find particular behaviors that match specific setting. This is take a long time to find their specific settings. Leaders must be willing to put themselves in situations where they will be judged, and they must recognize that their actions are worth watching. The second thing is in this theory is excessively Deterministic, since behaviorists think that human behavior is only caused by environmental factors such as classical conditioning and operant conditioning. It also denies a people's personal will and fails to recognize that every human may make choices about their behavior. A person may after their behavior and personality at any time, and the environment does not to influence their decision. Moreover, in behavioral management theory, as a overwhelming focus on unbreaking, it is only concerned with the impacts of the environment on an individual. From this, the final message is that our talents are influenced by the variety of things other learning. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Selvamani Anampropan Aramugam. My metric number is A20A1935 from AFT 1023 L1. Today our group presentation question is question 2. Identify and discuss the major contribution and drawbacks of classical management theory. There are main three theory. There is bureaucratic theory, scientific theory, and administrative theory. Advantages and disadvantages on bureaucratic theory are: number 1, specialization. A bureaucratic organization provides the advantages of specialization because every member is assigned a specialized task to perform. Number 2, predictability. The rules and regulations, specialization structure and training import predictability and thereby ensure stability in the organization. Conformity to rules and regulation in the structural framework bring out about order to cope with complexity. Number 3, democracy. Emphasize on qualifications and technical competence make the organization more democratic. Officials are guided by the prescribed rules, policies and practices rather than by patronage or other privileged treatment. And there are some disadvantages. The number 1 is rigidity. Rules and regulations in bureaucracy are often rigid and inflexible. Rigid compliance with rules and regulations discourages initiative and creativity. It may also provide the cover to avoid responsibility for failures. Number 2 is goal displacement. Rules framed to achieve organizational objectives at each level become an end to themselves. When individuals at lower level pursue personal objectives, the overall objectives of the organization may be neglected. Number 3 is impersonality. A bureaucratic organization stresses a mechanical way of doing things. Organizational rules and regulations are given priority over an individual's needs and emotions. Next, we move on advantages on scientific theory. Number 1 is enhanced production. The scientific management theory is responsible for enhanced production as it concentrates on steady improvement in business operations. There is a fruitful cooperation between managers and workers and hence enhance the teamwork achieved. The harmonious relationship between the management and workers assist in production in the organization. Number 2 is ability to control. The best part of scientific management theorist is that the managers can have good control over production. Employees become specialists in their field as they do the same task repeatedly. This makes it easy for the manager to have a control over employees. Number 3, a benefit to customer. With the help of scientific management theory, there are triple benefit for the consumers. Consumers pay fewer prices and can get the best quality products. They are also able to attain better living standards. So next, Komala Kumaran will present the next slide about scientific theories, disadvantages and administrative theories, advantage and disadvantages. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tarini Pilman and my metric number is 820B1310. My view on the relevance of classical management theory to today's work context is: firstly, workers are aware of their responsibilities and typically specialize in a single area. This improves productivity and efficiency while removing the need of employees to multitask. Secondly, financial incentives motivate employees. It proposed that if employees are given incentives based on their performance, they will work harder and more efficiently. The management, who can use this strategy to motivate their workers, may be able to increase their production efficiency and profit. And thirdly, the classical management theory revolves around the autocratic leadership model. There is no need to consult group of people in this system to make decisions. A single leader makes the final decision, which is communicated downward to all those who must follow. This leadership style can be advantageous when decision must be made quickly by a single leader rather than a group of company. And my view on the weakness of classical management theory is: nowadays the companies are the old theory overlooks the importance of human relation and creativity by trying to predict and control human behavior. This theory regards workers almost as machines, but fails to consider the value of job certification, employee input, and morals in workplace. So, as a conclusion, where high productivity is required, classical management theory can assist in streamlining manufacturing operations. However, the risk of the human relation movement, which attempt a better understanding of human motivation for productivity. Even though some of aspects are applicable in certain situations, this theory does not generally translate well to the workplace. Thank you.